juice and ginger ale.
Hello and welcome to the playoff edition of Monday Night Football. The Buccaneers to take on the Cowgirls.
Sir. What it do? You already know it's AJ Turner Pierce Slick. It's Bucs Report playoff Monday night.
Yes, sir. We've got a couple of guests coming in tonight. We've got Candace Martino. She'll be coming in at 7 p.m. We have Carter Brantley from Carter's Corner. Will be in at about 7:20. And then to finish off the show, we'll have Dan Holme holding it down with us till the end, getting our predictions and everything we want to talk about. All Buccaneers, because news is hit. Yeah, what do you got for me, AJ? What do you got for me, brother?
The best news of the day was Jensen. We know that.
Yeah.
Jensen was the best news. I told you that, Slick. They is playing. Bowles played chess, not checkers. This is the best move he's done all fucking season. He kept that shit under wraps. Now, the Cowboys, they did their little thing trying to bring in other players, but they're not ready for Jensen. They probably planned the play without him, so now they have to really adjust, but I feel like it's not going to do as much. And with Hainsey going back to his natural position, with Jensen being able to mentally get them ready, and it's the playoffs, because you can't tell me those guys wouldn't be nervous. He's going to have them good. I think in the beginning, they're going to use him more for the run to get him going. But that's a big effect, because now Brady's going to be able to sit in that pocket with his mind at ease to go, I'm going to run through these progressions. The Bucs have the Bucs offense actually has a chance to be average tonight.
I think they just do what they got to do. They bring what they took into the last two games into this game. When Tom Brady was playing, I think absolutely that we have. It's not. I'm not saying it's not even close, but we could blow out if we want to.
I told you it's not going to be close. If they get under 80 yards, if the Bucs defense stops that Cowboys rushing attack and they get less than 80 yards, the Bucs are blowing them out. I told you that's my hot take right there. If that happens, it's going to be a long night for Dallas. We already know Dak don't want this. To be honest, the pressure is on the Cowboys, not the Buccaneers. It's like if the Bucs lose, they're gonna go, well, what did you expect? 8-9 team. They limped into the playoffs. So what? On with the Dallas story. But
we did enough to get into the dance. So you got your ticket once you're there, and you get a home game. It's not like this is a team that's having to travel on the road. This is a home game.
That's right. And I just think at this point, the Cowboys, they talk too damn much, especially the players. Like, we had a great walkthrough practice. What the hell does that even matter? And they're talking too much. And I told you this already. As much as talented as Micah Parsons is, he's very immature. He's too weak-minded.
I would not be surprised if he gets if he gets chipped the same way again, that he might get ejected.
Yes.
Just for overreaction. And if I was Coach Bowles and Leftwich, that's something I'm going to target. That's something I'm. Let's see if he can take another chip, because he got real upset.
He was silent after that. After he got, I told you, I played.
No one had any sorry. No one felt sorry for him though. Everyone was like, "You get your ass handed to you. Just move on."
And look, as a running back, you get so much pleasure from doing that. But more than that, he's the kind of guy that I tell people, when you match his energy, he does not take it well. Remember, after Fournette put him on his ass, I tell people that was the most significant part of the game. He disappeared. When you disappear like that, that shows me your mental toughness is not there yet.
Well, it's the thing that people always have always said, and it's a cliche. It's almost a cliche in the sport that running backs can't block. They're not They're not solid blockers. Fullbacks are a little bit more different, but at the same time, like, this is an edge rusher versus a guy who's predominantly known for carrying the football and catching the football, not laying motherfuckers out. So when he does that, it probably did have him reeling for a minute, but it also it made him shrink into himself. He did not play with the confidence that he once had, and he is an absolute monster of a player. And he needs to be able to, you need to have that mental battle in your head where you just turn around and go, fuck it, he got me. He ain't going to get me again. Yep. I'm swiveling and I'm going to fucking put him on his ass.
That's right.
After I sack his quarterback.
That's right.
He needs to be going like, motherfucker got me. Not again. Not on my watch. Not in my home.
And more than that, you play to win for your team, not for your ego. He's the type, I think you're right. If he gets chipped and blocked the right way, and instead of focusing on playing to the game, knowing your gaps and doing this, he's going to make a mistake and try to just bull rush the entire night and not realizing you're leaving a part of the field open. And again, he is that person where, if you said it, let's see if he can mentally handle it. We know physically he has the gifts. Can you mentally handle somebody putting you on your ass again? Because he's going to be chipped. There's
so many things you can do with this, and we've talked before where you get him to chip, and then or you get him not to chip, and then he comes back and he hinges back. And this is where when you put him on his ass, the next play you don't get him to do it again. You make him just run the route. You make him run the route for one reason only. Parsons will want to get a piece of Leonard Fournette, and that's how you get the flag. That's how you get this unsportsmanlike conduct. You're playing. That's the chess game. So you go out. First one you go out there, he chips. Second time, he has a delay chip, because when you see the chip come in, no one cares, because it's like, okay, I knew I could see the block come in. There, he got me. But this other one, he came back, he cracked backed on him. And he cracked backed on him. And that's what he didn't like, because he all of a sudden didn't see him, and then he just appeared in his face. Almost he's trying to put it to like a sucker punch. Once you've done that, you've made him mad. The next time they go up each other, run the route. Don't even worry about coming back. Just run the route, because he's going to bite. You're sitting there with that bit of like cheese, and he's like,
that's right. And then go, oop, you almost had it. You got to be quicker than that. I get it. And that's the thing. I love what you're saying, because that's what you do. Players like that, when you know they mentally don't have it, and then sometimes if I'm Fournette, say a little something, not to where the refs can hear it. Say something to him.
You ready round 3?
Yeah, exactly.
You want to on national TV again?
Right, exactly. Oh, no wonder you couldn't get to All-Pro. You can't get past me. That's why. I would fuck with them. You know why they didn't put you in the All-Pro? Because they saw what I did to your punk ass. And then all you gotta do is say,
you put him on his ass and went, that's why I'm playoff Lenny, baby.
And don't call him Micah, call him Mikala or something. Give him a feminine name. I have done that. I have told players, look, call him out of his name. Say what you got to say. Be discreet. But that's one of those. It eats away. And remember, he is still injured. I don't know why Cowboy fans in the media is saying it's different. Everybody's not the same. You know why? It's hard to play when you have a club for a hand. I don't think people truly understand. Just because
you got no grip, you lose that. Which hand is it? Is it his left or right?
It's his left hand.
Okay, so I'm thinking he plays on the left hand side. He plays on the left hand side, or the right hand side of the field, which means this is going to be his dominant hand for his pass rush. This is going to be his swim, his rip, his pull. It's all off this hand. So yeah, right hand.
Mm-hmm. And what if it gets to a point to where he has to catch somebody with speed, of Rashad White?
Yep. There we go.
So,
without further ado, our first guest has joined us. She played basketball at the University of Tampa. She's the pride of Syracuse, and she's left local sports news to come and do some content creation with us. I give you Candace Martino.
Hey, guys. How are you? Long time no see.
Right. Pumped up and amped for this game.
I see it.
Again, welcome again. We had a great experience talking earlier, guys. For all you Bucs fans out there, please go follow Miss Candace Martino. She knows the game, and the simple fact she's a Bucs fan, this is a beautiful thing. We need all the fans we can get, especially through the dark ages that we had before. So how you doing this evening?
Good, not too bad. I'm pretty pumped up. Gonna get some dinner right before we get off here, and hopefully make it in time for kickoff.
Just like these fellas, in a few minutes afterwards, I'm gone because I got to get ready for this game.
Yeah.
I'm getting amped. I'm excited. The reason why I'm excited is because so much as it's a little different from the 2020 season, but the same thing is we are still being overlooked. And I like when the Bucs, Slick said it brilliantly. When the Bucs, each time they make it somewhere, they always are overlooked. How do you agree with that, Candace?
Yeah, I mean, I think more so this year than ever before. Brady comes in with his first losing season ever, in his career, which is, it speaks volumes. So I think more so now the Bucs are overlooked. As far as the past, they provided reasons why they should be overlooked, especially with some losing records. But for this year, yeah, they're coming in overlooked. I think they're hitting their stride when they need to. And it's been really choppy. I mean, it's not a fluid stride, right? I mean, oh, my camera went out. Give me 1 second here.
Take your time.
Let me see. Go ahead, guys. I'll pick it up in a second.
No, you do it in between takes and what have you, because I'm sure AJ will ask me something and I'll give you a chance to play.
Yeah, I say this, Slick. I'm telling you, the first play, I'm doing play action. I'm throwing it either deep to Evans or Cade Otton is running up that seam. Because
Cade Otton's a good choice. I like Cade Otton because he brings that he's like that under the radar cat. That's what you want. You want not someone who's okay. They paid attention to him. They've done a bit of due diligence on him, but he isn't considered a factor. So you make him a factor by giving him the ball early. Then they bite on that cheese, and the Buccaneers have too many platters of weapons out there for them not to go. You can just go, all right, we're just going to keep hitting this guy, and they'll go, right, this is what we're going to do to fix that, because it's all about adjustments, right? So the adjustment is we got to stop Cade Otton, who isn't even the Mac Daddy of our team yet.
No, not at
all.
That'll
open up more people. So it's just you just play this game where I'm going to keep showing you this, and you're going to bite on it, and then I'm going to give you something else. But they do need to mix in the run. I'm hoping with Jensen back that's going to pick up, but we don't know what level of play he's going to be at. But I'm sure just the level of aggression that he brings to that offensive line, I think will just fire them up.
I agree, and I think, and this is his fantasy. He's excited. With him, they're going to run it. And the funny thing is, actually, this might not be a bad idea. This could get him in game, like get his lungs going and getting him more acclimated, because at this point, I'd rather see Jensen. I want to see how he is in the run first to see if he's even ready. Because pass protection is much different from run blocking.
Sure.
But I'm confident with Hainsey playing his natural position. I would not be surprised. What if Hainsey has a monster game? What if because he's back at his original position? What if he just throttles this team? I think in the trenches is going to get a lot more fierce. Now, me. I think spread the rock. Spread it. Let's get some spread going. But if they want to be balanced, I can respect that. But I'm still in the mindset of let's set up the run with the pass first, because they want. Look, I know people will say no. Why would you? Because that gives Parsons. We know Brady gets the ball out too quick for that. Can you imagine the adjustments and play calls that he's going to make? Brady's going to be like, well, wait a minute. If they're going to do this, then all I got to do is this. And what did Mike Evans say? Their defense is predictable. Cover one, straight up man. Somebody's going to get beat. And they don't have the linebacking core to keep up with all of our receivers. As you said, Scotty or Godwin in the slot, it's over.
Yep.
That's just how I look at it. Offense, our biggest enemy is not even the Cowboys. We already know it's Byron.
The president of the Byron Leftwich Club has spoken.
That is our enemy. And for Candace, I told her about this earlier, but Candace, yes, our enemy is Byron. You still, despite that, please don't be predictable. Please. Again, we've already said this. Like how many weeks and months we said this? Just be average. If he does an average play call, because this is the Cowboys. This isn't now. If I'm speaking into existence. If we win and we play San Francisco next week, you can't be average. You have to be above average. But if you play average ball right now on offense, you can beat this team. I just looked at it statistically. Did you know that the Cowboys secondary has not been that good? They've actually had a mid sort of like mess season, and they've been declining for the past 6 games.
Yeah, sure. Absolutely. And the inactive list has just come out for the Buccaneers. It is Kyle Trask, Kyle Rudolph, Brashard Perriman, Keanu Neal, and Nick Leverett are all inactive for this game. So that means we will potentially see Hainsey at guard, or it means that I think they might have to go back to Luke Geteke.
I'm not drunk enough yet.
John, I can't pronounce his last name.
I don't care. They can get Rikishi to come in there and block. Because I would rather see Rikishi than Getke right now. I just don't trust him enough yet. Next season, maybe when he gets some more common sense under his belt. But I'm not about to have you get Brady killed out here, or I'm not about to have you get a good run game negated because you want to hold. I can't do it.
I'll bring in Candace back in again.
Right.
There we go.
Sorry
back,
guys.
That's all right.
Camera was not feeding into StreamYard. But yeah, carry on. I'll jump in.
No, we were just talking about the line again. Slick, can you give her the inactive list again?
Sure. It's Kyle Trask, Kyle Rudolph, Brashard Perriman, Keanu Neal, and Nick Leverett. So we will see some interesting things at guard. Who they go with? Who's the starter? I mean, the starting line hasn't been put out yet, so we'll see.
Yeah, and Leverett is not in, and Leverett actually was having a solid game.
It was decent.
Sure. Now, how do you feel about that? As we talked about earlier, Candace, again, how do you feel about the offensive and defensive side coming in? We're healthy. What do you think?
Yeah, the big thing here is being healthy. We mentioned earlier, you can't win playoff games or any games for that matter if you're not healthy. Your best players need to be on the field in order to have the best chance to win in these type of environments. So I think it's really good for the Buccaneers tonight that they're coming in healthier than they've ever been all season. And that's probably, they couldn't ask for anything more at this point.
Now, I want to ask you this. You're the coach right now on defense. You're actually Coach Bowles and you're defensive coordinator. Give me your matchup for the secondary. What kind of coverage would you want to go against the Cowboys offense? How would you approach this?
I'd probably think, given that everybody's healthy, right? I kind of like the blitz, right? I mean, you got to, as far as coverage is breaking it down, I'm not going to lie, I never played a snap of football out there, right? So I can't sit here and say, coverage one, all these different things. I think you gotta show blitz on this a lot. You got to use, your linebackers to come in and stop the run. And I think really because Dak's been struggling with the pass, they're going to lean heavy on their running back game, which they really should. I mean, they have some of the best running backs, really in the league when they're playing well. So if it's up to me, you're playing aggressive. You're playing aggressive on the ball and you're trying to get to Dak as quickly and fast as possible.
Man, she sound like me, Slick. What do I always
Hey, man, and I've never played a down in football in my life.
You're fine. Candace, me and Slick have always had this little back and forth about how the defense. I'm in your face. You better beat me. You either gonna beat me or I'm gonna beat you. Slick is he's the more logical.
And hurry up, the decision making. When he has time back there, Dak, he's really, he's a dagger. He's a dagger to teams. So hurry that up, make him make mistakes, which he has been the last, 7 games, throwing all kinds of interceptions. So
yeah, I already told you, Vita Vea is my guy to get in them trenches. He gets doubled and he succeeds. It's over. I understand what you're saying about the running back combination in Dallas, but Zeke is over the edge. He's done. I think he's washed. Pollard is the weapon. If you really think about it, the Bucs running backs are similar with the Cowboys. Fournette to me is not washed. I'm not saying that, but Fournette and Ezekiel are the short yardage, thumpers. Pollard and Rashad are the explosive, elusive guys. But let's be real, Zeke he had his time. Be honest, the Cowboys had their chance 2016 to 2018, and they blew it. Ezekiel Elliott relies on the line too much, and the Cowboys line is nowhere near what they were 6 years ago. So the trenches.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, they're a disaster. It's really both lines are disasters coming into tonight. So it's really the battle of who can get it together the fastest.
Absolutely. And I think with the Buccaneers on the defensive side of the football, their defensive line is pretty set. It is good against the run. That front seven is pretty solid. You've got Antoine Winfield coming back, and he is a good run stopper. Also, a very good blitzer, as you said, Candace. You want to see the blitz? You've got Levante David, you've got Devin White, and you've got this other guy who can blitz. And they do throw in some of those corner blitzes too on occasion that do get home with your SMBs. It could be a night of doing that, and that's what you want to do. And then sometimes I want them to just not blitz at all, because now you've got him seeing ghosts. Now he's looking for the person to blitz. Just create that illusion. Just show him every single look you can possibly give, and you might not even send anybody. You know, when they double stack the linebackers at the A, I'd do that, show that, and then they just break off and go into their sets. And then they used to do those delay blitzes. There's so much creativity. If it's the one side of the our football team that is the most creative part, because the offense doesn't look creative. The blocking scheme seems simple. It seems very meh, if I'm honest. We don't attack the sideline. We literally line up and just go straight down the field vertically, and Tom Brady throws as quickly as he can. And that's a problem.
Yeah, I'd say well put. I mean, we were just talking early, AJ, that's, you know, Brady obviously has the quickest release out of any quarterback in the league. So, you know, the O-line being not very good, we can maybe get away with it. But, you know, Jensen's back tonight. You guys were just talking about that, which is a huge morale boost. I mean, just not even physically having a body out there like him, but mentally. You know, Tom Brady back in training camp said he was absolutely heartbroken, along with a lot of people on the team, that Jensen was out for the season. So I think tonight that they're coming in with, you know, a chip on their shoulder, something that they really haven't had all season.
That's right. And Slick said this a long time ago, and I agree with him 100%. He stated that on offense, we needed a raw guy, a guy who can not only lead by action, but by words. With Jensen coming out, Brady can only do so much. That's not his, you know, when he did do it, sometimes it was out of frustration, but Jensen was the guy to really rally it up. Mike Evans is more lead by example, like you had stated earlier, Candace. With him being back, that is a total morale boost. And now they understand, hey, we can beat these guys. Let's not let them get to the best of us. If anything, I want the Bucs to get up early. So get up early and put them away. Put them away early. Don't even hang this around.
So I gathered some stats, you know, right before I jumped on here with, you know, Jensen being in. Just take a listen to this. They have a 744 win percentage with Jensen, 470, without him. Okay. Nearly 2.5 touchdown passes per game with Jensen, and only 1.5 touchdown passes without him. So, I mean, even if you're not a Bucs fan and you don't watch the games often, those are, I mean, just blaring numbers to tell you that this guy is a difference maker, and he will be tonight.
Wow. I didn't even know that. Wow.
And that's a nice stat to put together, because it's not so much I could have probably found, to be honest.
Yes.
But I've got a good story for you about Ryan Jensen. So I was lucky enough to get on a call with a couple of NFL players about a year ago, and they asked Cameron Jordan who's his least favorite player to play against in the whole NFL, and he said that piece of shit center at Tampa Bay, because he pisses everybody off because of how nasty he is. And that's the difference. That's what I'm talking about. You want that person. Tom Brady can get angry. He's a quarterback. He ain't going to go and end somebody's life with a block. He ain't going to take someone's soul. He's just going to bark. He's like a little dog. He ain't going to throw cans. He's not going to do nothing. He ain't going to push. He ain't going to laugh at somebody. He's just going to shout. It's not the same. Yeah, and probably get his wide receiver ejected.
Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly. And I wanted to ask you this. We had talked about it earlier. I wanted to ask you on offense. Give me your all-star cannons on offense, 2 all-star cannons on offense, and then 2 all-star cannons on defense that you want to just really just take this game to elevate their game to a whole nother level so we can get this victory.
Yeah, I think earlier we didn't really talk about Leonard Fournette a lot. You know, this is a guy that maybe a lot of people maybe are sleeping on at this point. Rob Gronkowski said in an interview earlier last week that he's extremely high on Fournette, and for, you know, the right reasons, right? They went on a Super Bowl when Gronk was there, but, you know, he said that he's going to be the difference maker. And I think, you know, Lenny absolutely will. He didn't get playoff Lenny nickname for, you know, no reason. Mm-hmm. You know, and he tore it up last time when they played Dallas earlier in the season. So for him, you know, for offense, definitely Leonard Fournette. We mentioned earlier, I think Mike Evans too. I mean, man, he's just due. He had that breakout game against Carolina, but this is where he's going to shine. His athleticism, getting up and getting the ball, beating his man downfield. He said, "Hey, I love cover one. I love man-to-man defense." So I think we're really going to see him shine here. As for defense, we talked about it. Winfield Jr. He picked off Dak in week 1, right? The only interception that he had there. So he can run, he can support the run game. He can blitz, like we just said. His angles to the ball are, they're incredible. So I think you got to stop that. And again, I'm going to go back to the whole linebacker core. I think, they got to move as a unit and together. And the more aggressive they play, the more, turnovers they're probably going to get, right?
Amen. So linebacking core, playoff Lenny and Evans. I hope you're right, because first of all, Evans is my favorite player on the Bucs squad. I would love to see him get.
Yeah, I think a lot of people in the fan base would. He's just had a down year. It's obviously it goes with the offense not doing well and Leftwich, which you have your take on that. The play calls, but yeah, he's due. He's due to make some noise here.
He's that guy. He's who he is, man. We've loved Evans from the dark ages to now. He deserves it out of everybody.
Do one of those big playoff games, like signature games, like your Hall of Fame resume. You're stacking everyone's talking about like how he's going to be potentially a Hall of Famer. You need to do something in the postseason. He's had glimmers in the postseason. I want him to have a game in the postseason. You remember in 2022 to 23, he had that playoff game against the Cowboys and just 200 yards. 3 touchdowns, that kind of like.
That's exactly what I'm talking about. He has not had that yet, right? Glimpses, but he hasn't put it all together. And that's really going to separate him. That will cement his legacy where fans outside of, the Tampa Bay fan base are going to be like, wow. Like I remember watching that Monday night game, like you said, against Dallas, and this man took over.
And you're right. It's Monday night, so the whole world will watch. So I do hope so. And I think he will. I think he's going to get at least 102 yards and hot take 2 touchdowns.
I thought that too. 2 touchdowns.
I think get the turn, and then get the 2 tutties. I think so. Look, he's the best weapon on offense that they have. I do think that we're going to see a bit more of Julio Jones, because this is why they got him. This is why they've been really, really cautiously using him. They haven't used him a bunch. They've only had to use him in big chunks when they've needed to, when they've not had wide receivers there. Now that they're all healed up, now they're all ready, this is why we went and got him.
That's right.
Just the same as 2020 when Brown took off.
That's right. And I like to do a little joke. Y'all ever played the game of spades and cards?
Nope. I don't.
I'm not a big card person, but okay, so I know of it.
Yeah, so in spades, there's 3 types of jokers. Joker, little joker, and then baby joker. That baby joker is a son of a gun. You know why? Because it hits you where it hurts. It's like that is Julio Jones is our baby joker. We can throw him out there, and like you said, they're gonna go, oh, I forgot he was even here. He just caught a 50-yard bomb. Darn it. Again. And that hopefully that's Fournette knocking Micah Parsons out. I mean, knocking him out to where he gets mad. We've talked about this earlier, Candace. This is actually, in your opinion, who, in your opinion, is going to be going to coach a better game between McCarthy and Bowles?
It's the battle of 2 awful coaches, probably the worst right now in the NFL. I'm going to have to go with Bowles, and here's why. Not necessarily because of him, but because of who he has. Right? That's Tom Brady. They got 2 things right now, Tampa Bay, that Dallas wants: Tom Brady and home field advantage. And when you're in those type of environments in that situation, it's hard. It's hard to do poorly and go against game plan because you're all, fired up or flustered. The other team, the other environment got you going on. So I'm going to pick Bulls with this one.
Yeah, I hear you. I agree. I think it will be. I think Bowles can't mess this up. He knows, hey, I want to secure my legacy. I don't want to be that guy who let Brady down. So I like that.
Yeah,
absolutely. But we are running on time, and we have another guest to bring in. So I wanted to ask I ask everybody, when instead of doing a prediction, I always do the sports newspaper. So you wake up the next day, you open the sports newspaper. What do you want that headline to say? Your headline. You flip that tomorrow. You come downstairs, the paper's on the thing. You turn it to the sports section, and it says, boom. What did it say, Candace?
So going into this, right, he's tied with the Cowboys for wins, right? Playoff wins. So I would say Bucs win. Brady now has more playoff wins than the Cowboys. I think that is so sweet to have that as an individual. That would be a killer headline to have.
Amen. And can you please again tell the world where we can find you and just some up and coming plans that you have for yourself?
Yeah, for sure. Real quick, it's at Candace Martino or at Candace Martino TV, given the different platforms that you're on. I just launched my own show, the Candace Martino Show, left local TV. I'm hitting social media full, the ground running with it. So hopefully you'll see more of that and more of me on your pod.
Absolutely. You're more than welcome to come in. We will always love having other people come in. So it's always nice to get a fresh perspective. I'm English and I give my perspective. You got AJ with me. He's the president of the Byron Out Club. So
I love it. And it's been tough too. I'm out of market right now. I'm up in Pittsburgh. So I haven't gotten to see all the games this season. So hopefully I gave you guys some good takes.
You did.
The stat stuff was impressive, to be honest.
Exactly.
I can find some stuff, but that was nicely done.
Appreciate that.
Thanks again, Candace. Thanks for coming in.
Thanks so much, guys. Take it easy. Go Bucs.
Go Bucs. Okay, so our next guest is Carter Brantley from Carter's Corner and Creative Loafing. He's our guy. Woo-woo! Here he comes. It's time, baby.
Hey, what's up, y'all?
The man with the plan who got the best hair in the land. How you doing?
I'm doing all right. Just chilling. Hoping the Bucs can pull out a victory, even not only just for, as someone from the Tampa Bay area, but also because, those damn Cowboys. No one likes the fucking Cowboys. I mean,
nobody likes the fucking
Cowboys. Have you dealt with Cowboy fan trolls? Have you dealt with that?
Oh, nah. Even if I did, I don't read the comments. They don't pay me enough to read the comments on any of this damn stuff. So,
I don't know how you do it because I've got a bit of an ego, so I have to have it. And AJ has to respond. I would just sit there and fret and sweat and go, motherfucker. Here's the fucking video getting at them.
Carter, there's a reason why people don't like the fans because they're delusional as hell. I like to go into the game logical. Like you, Carter, you talk about logics and logistics. Even when you don't believe in your team, you're not just downing them. You're going by facts and logic and what's to come. Cowboy fans, it's always their damn year. So Dak has thrown 7 interceptions for 7 straight games, and he led. But he's just all of a sudden he's going to turn it around and be perfect. I've had people troll me saying Dak is going to be perfect.
Yeah, I don't know about all that. Dak seems to be on a tough stretch recently, which, as much as I hate the Cowboys, I hate Cowboys fans, he seems like one of the nicer dudes on the team. So it sucks that, he's struggling so much. But yeah, the Cowboys, good gracious. I mean, Micah Parsons, oh God, can't stand that dude. Don't look up what he did at Penn State because it's some nasty stuff. So not only is he a weird dude on Twitter, he's also just a weird dude in real life.
I have to look it up now.
He is a weird guy, but and I like that you said that, Carter. Let me ask you this: do you think, because this is playoff time and he has an ego, do you think, let's say, if by some crazy way the Bucs get up 17-0 first quarter, do you think Micah Parsons has the mental capability to rile the defense back up to play better, or is he going to self-destruct? What is your personal logical opinion?
I mean, he made personal beliefs about him aside. He's a professional. He's definitely an emotional player for sure. So I could see, him blowing his top off and doing all that. But, he, just like anyone else, he's there to win the game. He's there to do his best. He's also there to earn a paycheck. If he does some stupid stuff in playoff time, then he gets the reputation of, oh, well, in crunch time, he can't really put it all together because, this is a big game for him. He's still a young player. He's still establishing himself in the NFL. He's still on a rookie deal. So just even from a pure logistical, pure money standpoint, he's playing for that next big contract, and regular season stats, regular season performance is nice and everything. But like y'all have been saying, it's playoff time. These are the big games that we all love to see and they all love to play for. So, he's a professional. As much as, he might be a little worked up, he's going to keep it cool, at least I'd imagine. If he doesn't, hey, great. That means that the Bucs win the game. But, like I said, he's a professional too.
Shit, he gets ejected, the Bucs are winning by 40.
Yeah, I know that's right.
Yeah, this is something that me and AJ were alluding to earlier before we went on the air is I think if you chip him again, you might just get him ejected.
Yeah, I mean,
that really upset him. He really overly reacted to that. He could have just, took his lumps and just got on with life. No, he had to put it up on social media. No one cared. No one had any time for him. No one felt sorry for him. He just looked like an idiot.
right.
You do it again, you might get him doing something a little bit unsportsmanlike that could get him ejected. In this kind of emotional setting, the Bucs are up by 2, and you do that crackback block on him. Whew.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, that's a great point. And I mean, I don't know if y'all saw the Chargers-Jaguars game, but Joey Bosa, he cost his team the game.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
He was chirping at the refs. God knows what he said. He seemed to say something that was pretty off. And it's, the Bosa brothers, they have their own reputation.
Yes, they do.
We'll let that.
I know.
But regardless, he cost his team the game because that penalty allowed the Jaguars to go for 2, and they allowed to go up by a field goal and win the game. And that's just that's Charger football at this point. There's
right.
But this is a Bucs show. Regardless, my ultimate point with that, Parsons could absolutely start yapping off to the refs, and it's just like in basketball. Guys get texts for complaining about fouls and stuff. It could easily happen to a guy like Minka. Maybe Tristan Wirfs is holding him the wrong way, or Donovan Smith. Regardless, he feels like he's or the chip blocks, like you mentioned. Yeah, absolutely, it could definitely get ugly. And fingers crossed it does, but we'll see. We'll see.
Well, I mean, Lenny talks a bit of trash to him as well.
Right.
And he puts him on his ass, going, "You're gonna cry about this one too."
Tweet about this, and let's be real. We already know for the most part, Parsons is not going to line up on Tristan's side. He knows better. They want to test Donovan Smith. Here's the thing: they're going to still
he's the donkey
that left side. He's the donkey. Oh, absolutely. Donovan Smith. His problem is he's a hit or miss. When he is on, he's on. But his fundamentals for Parsons is shit. Parsons is way too athletic for him. That's why Parsons line up over there. If you look at it, it's not that Parsons does anything technical to beat Donovan Smith when he got those sacks. He just ran right past him. So we know this is, like you said, Carter, we've already discussed this, but I want to get your take on this. On offense, what the hell do you want to see from Byron? Because we know this all points on him. What do you want to see from Byron in this offense?
Oh man, I'd love to see him turn it loose. I think Jensen being back is going to be, a big time plus. Because it just provides. I think Jensen's a real calming presence. It sounds ironic because he is absolutely a fiery player, but I think he certainly brings a level of familiarity to the offensive line. There's been so much turmoil, so much turnover. So I'd love to see him turn it loose, and I think they'll be able to just because like I said, Jensen's an anchor for that offensive line, and obviously he's coming off a major injury, so we'll have to see how he deals with that. But he's a professional. If he wasn't able to go, if he didn't believe that he was going to be better than Robert Hainsey, for example, because that's ultimately who he's replacing, then he wouldn't be playing. And he's a professional as well. He's an elite center. So I'm really excited to see him, be able to just let it rip, because they've been kind of playing this conservative style all year. And I feel like a lot of it has to do with this offensive line not giving Brady enough time to really push the envelope, push the deep ball. But that's kind of my take on it. I'm really excited to see Jensen play just because he's so fun to watch. Even as offensive linemen go, I mean, it's an offensive lineman. It's not exactly going to be super fun, but as far as offensive linemen go, he's by far one of the most fun to watch in the NFL, in my opinion.
Amen. What about defense? What do you want to see on defense?
I'd love to see them continue the trend of forcing turnovers. They've been forcing a lot of turnovers over the past few weeks, and that's going to be huge because the Cowboys are the second best turnover differential team in the NFL. They have the most takeaways in the NFL. So they're going to get their fair share of takeaways. So it's just about the Bucs responding in kind, being able to keep up in that aspect. Just in case, the Bucs aren't able to take care of the ball or the Cowboys force a turnover, just because those happen, especially against a defense like the Cowboys. So yeah, I'd love to see them continue that trend of getting takeaways.
Amen. You know what I want to see? This right here.
Word.
No cushion. I don't want to see that shit. I don't want to see it. I don't want to see this. This is a no cushion. Look, I'm so against this. I can't even sleep on this. That's how much I detest that dumbass cushion. Sometimes we leave these players in because what a lot of teams do is tire the Bucs defense out and you got a chance. because they know in the beginning they're gonna, the Bucs defense is gonna give them a run. Don't do that. Take them out early sometimes, Bose. Take that chance. I'm telling you this right now.
He likes to feel out. He likes to feel out first.
Yeah, the Cowboys are gonna run the rock, and they're gonna do dink and dunks to get Dak in a rhythm. They'll take a one deep shot if they see something, but for the most part, this is gonna be a game of keeping Brady in the offense from getting the rhythm, because Cowboys know they don't have enough in the tank defensively to get at us. That pass rush look, I'm telling you right now, with Jensen being back, that line is gonna be so much better. But yes, defensively, stop this shit. You don't need this. Put Carlton Davis on Gallup, shut his punk ass down. Dean will have his way with CeeDee Lamb. CeeDee Lamb is always, we know, he'll drop 2-3 balls he should have caught. We know this. This is CeeDee Lamb, and Slick said this brilliantly. He lines up in the slot. We know this. We know this, and Slick, you got to just tell them that brilliant defensive scheme that you said you would do if CeeDee Lamb goes in the slot, because I wouldn't do it no justice. Slick, take it away, because that shit was brilliant.
Okay, so you're either going to have SMB or it's going to be Antoine Winfield Jr. He's going to play heavy on him. He's going to press the shit out of him, and as he releases past him, because you can't hold them or anything like that, so you're going to jam him up a little bit, but he's going to get free. He's going to get loose. When he does, he calls release. That tells Lavonte David, boom, he's my cat now, and he just follows him.
Now, Carter,
how
do you feel about that? Is that a good plan or what?
Absolutely. And I think a big factor with that game plan is all the safeties are finally healthy, except for Keanu O'Neal, but the secondary is finally healthy. And Logan Ryan has allowed Antoine Winfield to shift to that slot position. And it's a beautiful thing. And with all of them healthy, absolutely, they can totally do this. That's a wonderful game plan. I'd love to see them try that out. Just see how it works. And yeah, like y'all are saying, that's definitely a great idea. I'd lean more towards Winfield than Sean Murphy-Bunting personally, because
for sure.
I've seen
you're going to rotate people around, but
right.
Yeah.
But, as much as Sean Murphy-Bunting seems like a nice enough guy, but man, I've seen him get burnt very, very many times.
It doesn't. In this case, it won't matter. It just needs whoever's your best hands guy to jamming up. That's really kind of who you want there. It doesn't matter. You're not getting off the line for free. Yeah, sure. And when you do, because it's all about timing with these things, and like AJ said,
I love that shit. Look, time.
There's a timer going off. He's going to get that. Dak's going to get that ball going up. It's above his head. Yep. And on top of that, with Antoine Winfield, what's Antoine Winfield been good at this year? Sacking the quarterback, so he can play hands as soon as he releases. He's got a delayed blitz on top of that.
Right, absolutely.
Dak looking his way and going, he's jamming up my guy. Okay, I'll look at somewhere else. I'll have to look somewhere else and see if he gets off later. Then all of a sudden he breaks off. You got Lavonte David coming down if he does cock that ball back, and you got Antoine Winfield in his face. I'm not saying it's going to work every time, but it's just something for them to think, shit, we got to do something else.
For sure, a different look. Absolutely.
And let's keep it a buck. Dak is literally channeling a player that we once cheered for and adored for, but he just couldn't get right, and that's Jameis Winston. Dak has channeled Jameis Winston to the fullest, because the hero mode. I tell everybody, sometimes being a hero you don't get the benefits as they do in movies. Dak is one of those guys where I got to do it again, because he's playing to validate himself through the dumbass Cowboy Nation. He gives you those chances. There are plays that it's like, what the hell are you doing? That's why Winfield was able to pick him off. If you look at it, Dak had no business throwing that ball. And Winfield is good at looking at the QB. Winfield, I would not be surprised. This is another hot take. Wouldn't be surprised if Winfield comes off with 2 picks. Because if he plays the nickel, and CeeDee Lamb fucks up, which I expect, because it's CeeDee Lamb. He can play like his last name sometime, soft as hell, and just croak.
I love it.
And then that's where Winfield comes in, or Mike Edwards. So I'm expecting Dak to throw 2 picks, and I expect the Bucs to get 4 sacks. The reason why I say 4, 2 of them will be off of blitz, and the other 2 are going to be just off of Vita being able to get the trenches, and somebody else is going to get the sack. Again, how do you feel about this, Carter? How would you feel if they move Devin White around and utilize him the way that the Cowboys use Micah Parsons?
That'd be really interesting. I think we've talked about this earlier this year, using Devin kind of off the edge as kind of an edge rusher. It's really exciting because, without Shaq, they're relying on JTS and Carl Nassib, and both of those guys, are fine individually, but man, it's not much of a pass rush. It can be tough sometimes, getting pressure on the quarterback without the benefit of blitzing. So yeah, it'd be really interesting because, he has that athletic ability, that electrifying first step. It's really fun to watch him play when he's getting after the quarterback. He kind of seems to struggle a bit in the pass coverage, which is tough, as a middle linebacker. But lining him up off the edge would be really fun. I'd love to see them try it every now and again, just as kind of a gimmick, kind of just throwing off the offensive timing, just see what you can do, just kind of create some chaos. That'd be really exciting. That'd be really fun to watch for sure.
I want to see Dak do this when he sees Devin White on the edge.
Right.
Time out.
Yep. Burn
I got this Louisiana horse riding motherfucker on me. I can't do this. Look, he got a horse already, so he want to put Dak in his stables.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But I'll ask you one more question because I know it's getting to the time of the hour. What is the atmosphere like where you are? Give me your take on that.
Oh man, I'm in Winter Haven, Florida, so everyone's asleep by now. But it's almost 8:00. That's pushing everyone's bedtime. But I'm really excited. I'm about to hop in a little PlayStation party with my friends, and we're gonna watch the game together. It's definitely excitement. I was hanging out with my parents earlier. We were all really excited about this game coming up. It's just the ESPN coverage around Raymond James has been really exciting. Just as a native Tampa person, it's just so fun to watch the city be highlighted. Growing up there, no one really, there were a bunch of jokes made about Tampa, and no one wanted to live there. And now rent is through the roof. So now I got to live in freaking Winter Haven because I can't afford to live there. So, it's really exciting to see that kind of thing happen. It's definitely a great atmosphere, electrifying, Champa Bay. That's the motto. So, I'm definitely really excited for this game.
Cool.
Okay, Carl, just before we let you go, we've got one more guest to come in. As I've always done and I always will do is you wake up the next day, the Bucs have played, you get that newspaper, you flip to the sports section. What's that headline saying to you about this Buccaneers game in Europe that you want it to say?
What I want it to say is Cowboys go out sad. That would be lovely.
I like that.
Really fun. I'd love for that to happen.
The Cry Boys.
Indeed.
Yes.
Yep, the Cry Boys. You could even say that. That'd be wonderful.
Nah, fuck boys is better.
Yeah, I hope that happens. Just because, man, Skip Bayless is a Cowboys fan, and fuck that guy.
We want him to go.
And give it to him.
I knew Thomas Edward Patrick Brady Jr. was going to win this. You never bet against him when you fall to the table. He's that guy.
For him, it's a win-win because either Tom Brady wins or the Cowboys win. So either way, he's going to be.
He can slurp off whoever.
Right.
Yeah.
But that's my headline. That's my optimistic headline for sure.
Okay, Carl, we'll let you get out of here and tell us where we can find you and what you're doing, what you've got up and coming.
Absolutely, yeah. I got another Carter's Corner article, coming up after this game. Creative Loafing, catch me there as well. My Twitter handle is CT Brantley 12. You can follow me there. RBLR Sports is also a podcast I do weekly. Thank you all so much again for having me on. I really appreciate it. It's always a blast with you guys. Hope the rest of the show goes well.
We will. We speak it into existence. We got
Indeed. Yes, sir. I'll always go Bucs. Yes, sir.
Go Bucs.
Go Bucs, baby.
Yes, sir. Y'all have a good night.
You too.
And you, brother. See you soon. Okay, that's our last guy. And then we bring in Mr. Dan Holme of the Minute Cast. Welcome to the show, brother. How's it going?
Good. How you guys doing?
Hanging in there, man.
Hanging in there. Play football, baby.
Yes. Give me your feeling on the game and what you expect how to play out.
So big things, of course. The biggest news is that Ryan Jensen is in there. It's going to be interesting to see what shape he's in. He hasn't had any play all of this season. The last time he got any real world playing action was last season. He got injured in the preseason, so I look for that to be big. Storylines to take away from this for me are the Bucs are the only team to win first place with a losing record. So I guess ultimately all that doesn't really mean anything as we head into the postseason. Tom Brady does Tom Brady things, and hopefully the Buccaneers and Tom Brady can win tonight, and Brady can be 8-0 versus the Cowboys.
Amen. And now we ain't the first. Now people forget the 2010 Seahawks 7-9, and then the Panthers at 7-8-1, I think. But that's no here nor there. I do want that. With Jensen coming back, the offense is gonna. The word that I say for the day that the Bucs will feel is on the line is confidence, more confidence, and that's going to happen. And I think that will happen. How about you? What do you feel about this offense as a whole?
Well, I hope that playoff Lenny shows up. I see him out at the stadium. Greg Amman was posting some video. I think that if he can show up and play a big role, just think about what he did the last time the Bucs were in the postseason and what he's capable of doing. He faced a myriad of injuries, and the Bucs team did that season. So hopefully he can show up and do big things once again for this Bucs team. They're going to need him to show up. The good thing about this year is they have depth in the running back position in the form of Rachaad White. And hopefully, he's engaged as well. But ultimately, what they need more than anything, in my opinion, is Mike Evans engaged and Chris Godwin engaged. Have those routes locked up. For a lot of it, either Brady threw it under or he threw it over, or Evans wasn't where he was supposed to be. If they can get that team firing on all cylinders, I think it would be good. But one of the things, as I take a look at this, and if you guys can think back to about 5 years ago when Brady was the quarterback of the Patriots, he is capable of doing big things. Brady threw for 466 yards and 2 touchdowns as the Patriots scored the game's final 31 points in a 34-28 overtime victory, down 28-3 midway through the third quarter after a Matt Ryan touchdown. Brady methodically engineered a comeback with a series of surgical throws. So, why do I say all that? Oftentimes the Bucs are behind in these games, but before you turn the game off and you go to bed, remember who they have at QB and remember the pedigree of this team. I know some pieces have moved out since the Super Bowl season, but there is still a lot of talent on this team. And ultimately, I do think they have what it takes to do big things this season.
You are absolutely right. And I love that you brought that up because a lot of people don't realize if you really look at it, the secondary is the best that we've had, even during the 2020 Super Bowl run. What made us dominant then was not our secondary, was the pass rush. What killed us last season? Secondary. Right. That Antoine Winfield play is our secondary cost us that. And the simple fact that we were more hyped instead of we're underdogs again. So the Bucs defense is not going to be an issue. If the Bucs offense can just be average, that's all we need. So we're talking to Byron Leftwich's of the world. Our biggest enemy is not Dallas. It's Byron.
Yeah, and I mean, look for some upsets out there. If you guys watched the games yesterday, Jacksonville, where in the hell did those guys come from?
Yeah.
And then to beat the Chargers, if you saw the Vikings game, I thought they were going to win that game. So, a lot of the talking heads on the NFL Network and Schefter and all these guys, they think, well, this is going to happen and that's going to happen. As we found out, that isn't necessarily the case. I don't think anyone saw Jacksonville winning that game. So, I mean, there's a lot of different things to consider. The thing for the Buccaneers, though, that's a bit interesting is that if they do, in fact, win this game, they will go on and play the San Francisco 49ers. As we know, the Buccaneers had their asses handed to them by the 49ers last time.
Yeah.
And I know that's not always the case, but the Buccaneers need to concentrate on the game tonight and be prepared if they do win for a really tough opponent.
That's where you play above average offense. That's where Byron gets out of his thinking cap and he takes it to the next level. You have to. Now, again, to beat the Cowboys offensively, we can be average because their defense is still falling apart. Their secondary is battered. Micah is still battered. I don't care what anybody says. He's battered, and that's gonna catch up eventually. But you're right. If we're speaking this into existence. When the Bucs win, you go to San Fran. They're gonna have to be damn near perfect on their offense because this is a team that you cannot make mistakes. They're too loaded. So I agree with you. Byron is gonna. If you want a damn coaching job, if you want to shut me the hell up, a part of the president. I'm the president of Byron out. Get him the hell out. Call a perfect game, and then I will. And let's say if the Bucs go in and beat the 49ers by 14, I will owe Byron an apology. But until then, I don't think so. But yes, overall, what is your like? How do you feel like when it comes to like the vibes within your group of folks and the maybe inside information you hear? What is the feeling that the Bucs that you feel like that they have about this game?
Confidence, and that confidence comes from the top down, and that comes from Tom Brady. He's been there and he's done that. And that's what I'm hearing, is that it's going to be a good game. I don't think it's going to be a blowout in any regard, but I do think the Bucs have what it takes to beat this team. And I don't want to just use it as a comparison about how they played him in the regular season, because I know that doesn't always translate. But, there's certain players in all of sports that have an extra gear when it comes to the postseason. And I think that Brady's one of that. And I think that Evans really excels on the big stage. Some of these guys, they just feed on that nervous energy. And I do think that that's what the Buccaneers are going to do. I think that it's not going to be a game that is won by field goals like we saw, a couple times during the regular season. I do think it is going to be a decisive win by 1 or 2 possessions. It's not going to be, something that is just won by a field goal. I do think that the Buccaneers have it within them to pick up a big win tonight.
I see. I said this. This is my hot take. Slick has heard this. The Bucs keep the Cowboys rushing offense under 80. They will blow them out. You know why? Dak won't be ready. He's going to be prone to making mistakes. He's going to channel his Jameis Winston effect, and he's going to throw some picks. They have to, Dak is the guy that he needs a full team to be dominant. If that run game is off, they don't. And here's the thing: it'd be different if they had Amari Cooper from last year. They only have one guy, and we know where he does his damage, the slot. So that's why I say either it will come down to a 6-point win, or it will be a major blowout, because we know Dak. Like, let me ask you this: you've seen Dak. If Dak is just a pass, if they become to the point where they're just relying on the pass, do you honestly, in your opinion, think that they can do damage in the passing game?
I don't really think that's the case at all. I think the Bucs have them dialed in, and I think, they've kind of looked at a lot of film, a lot of footage, and see what they ultimately have. And I don't think that the Cowboys really present that much of a challenge. I don't think it's going to be a blowout, but I do think it's going to be a 1 or 2 possession win. And I think that the Bucs have the Cowboys number. Again, I would never discredit any team that has Brady as a QB and just the players that are around him. And the biggest thing, the hugest thing I had out in my podcast today was Jensen returning. I talked about that off the top with you guys. I didn't really see that happening. There was issues with Leverett and Hainsey with injuries, that kind of thing. So there was a lot of question about there who is ultimately going to play the center position if Jensen was not good to go. But, having a Pro Bowler out there at the center position is huge. And I think that can be one of the magic bullets for this Buccaneers team.
Amen. 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 You got anything that you want to throw in there, Slick? Because Slick.
I got a little that we haven't talked about yet, and I don't know if everyone's heard about this. Has everyone heard the Jerry Jones blunder on Chris Godwin yet?
Yeah, he didn't know who the hell Chris Godwin was. I was sitting back like, first of all, that's senile age coming in, but second, that's just disrespect. What is your take on that, Dan?
To be honest, I did not hear that. I've been kind of keeping tabs with it throughout the day. I've had some stuff to do around the house here, but I did not catch that comment. What was exactly said anyway?
He was asked with Tom Brady coming back and having all his weapons back, what kind of impact do you think Chris Godwin will have? And he proceeded to talk about his corner, CJ Goodwin, which is kind of where he gone, but he did say his name. He said, we know what Chris can do. We know Chris can get us an interception and change the game for us. And I'm like, he'll give us a turnover, was his word. And he obviously meant he would talk about CJ Goodwin. However, CJ Goodwin's name isn't Chris or Godwin. Even the CJ, I think, is like Chawan Jair, his name. It's not in the remote, like, I don't know if it's more disrespectful that you don't know your own player's name or you don't know who Chris Godwin is.
And I think Godwin's to the level where, you should know his name around the league. Sure. He's one of the premier players out there. And maybe not to a casual fan, but someone that is so steeped into following the NFL, you think that he would know who he is.
No, he'll learn.
If you're a fantasy football fan, you know who Chris Godwin is.
He's going to learn today because, again, if they put Godwin in the slot, he's going to eat. He's going to eat. So, he'll find out today. We're not worried about that. He'll know who Chris Godwin is at the end of the game. But, for that, guys, I'm about to cut mine short because I got to get myself ready for this game. I will be in touch with you guys. For everybody else, I'm going to be probably most likely going to IG Live, Flex Luthor _813, A Turner _24 for Twitter, and then Flex Luthor again for TikTok, and it's about Bucking Time on YouTube. But again, Slick, Dan, always a pleasure. Hopefully, I will be messaging y'all later on in a drunken friends of joy and not a drunken friends of somber.
Let's hope for a big win.
That's right. And go Bucs.
Go Bucs.
Thanks.
See you, AJ. Well, I think we're not got long left. I think everyone wants to kind of get prepped for this game. What is the one thing that you want to see from this Buccaneers team that we haven't really seen a lot of?
Well, I think the biggest thing is to get on the board first. You know, one of the things that can be deflating, especially this season, is the Bucs will go on a long drive and then they have to end up punting it away. And I think that's a bit demoralizing. And I think that ultimately it kind of takes Tom Brady away from his game. You can see that he always looks very rattled if he's got the team all the way down the football field and they have to either settle for a field goal or they have to punt it away. So that's the biggest thing, is the Buccaneers play the best when they play from ahead. And that's the biggest thing going forward, is just getting a lead early. I think that the Buccaneers sometimes struggle when they're trying to claw their way back into games. So if they can get scoring early and they can keep the Cowboys, you know, kind of shut down defensively, you know, the Buccaneers can keep them locked down. I think that that will be the keys to success. The problem, I think, is going to be able to being able to do that and maintain that for an entire game. The other thing that has plagued this team this season is third downs, being able to convert on third downs. Are they going to be able to do that in this game? I guess it remains to be seen. But again, I have some positive energy going into this game. And you got to kind of put the rest of the regular season in the back of your mind, because it's a whole new season. Like Levante David said, you know, it starts all over in the postseason. So let's hope that they can just kind of keep that positive momentum going and they get a lead from the start.
Absolutely. I mean, for me, the biggest key for unlocking this game for the Buccaneers defensively is if they stop the run. And it also depends on which Cowboys team will turn up. So the year before we played them, they didn't even run the football. They just threw, and it was a tight game. Now, they had better wide receivers back then, of course. This year, they decided to run the football and was very run heavy. It did not work out. They went to the pass. It did not work out for them, and we ended up winning that game convincingly. It's probably one of the better performances by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, because it was prime time, because it was America's team. This is the kind of team that you want to beat. This is like if you're a Levante David or a Mike Evans. This is a signature game. This is the game. It's almost like a legacy game. You stuffed the Cowboys. You beat the Cowboys on the biggest stage. It is Monday Night Football. They came to you and you sent them packing out of the playoffs, because everyone wants to see that. That isn't a Dallas Cowboys fan. You've got people who don't even like Tom Brady probably rooting against the Cowboys in this.
It seems like a team that everyone loves to hate. I know that the Cowboys are kind of a national team. Like, you will see Cowboys bumper stickers or license plate covers throughout the United States. They're kind of a national team, kind of like the New York Yankees in that regard. But I agree with your assessment on there that I think there's a lot of fans of the NFL that are kind of rooting for the Dallas Cowboys to lose. And ultimately, of course, that's what we're hoping for. But I do think that is going to be the case. I don't think it's going to be that tough of a game. You know, the last time I spoke with you, I thought they were going to win. I believe it was before the 49ers game, if memory serves.
Yes, it was.
And they lost. So sometimes I'm going to go ahead and eat my words. But all I'm going to say is that for tonight, I'm hoping, and I have a feeling, that they are going to pick up a big win tonight. And then it's on to the next one. And, you know, I know that it is going to be the 49ers. But they're going to have to go about it is that just kind of build on that swagger going forward, that confidence that comes from that. Brady's the kind of guy that he feeds off confidence and he feeds off his team playing well. You know, he plays some of his worst football. You know, that's the times when you see him throwing his tablet around, is when his guys out on the field aren't, you know, stepping up to a level that they believe he should be playing at. So again, I just think get off to an early start, and that's the keys to success for this team.
And that's it. They just want to win this game and put it behind them. And then you have your eye on San Francisco. And not just that. San Francisco damn near embarrassed this team. There's going to be a lot of... I would say if they lost that game close, I would probably favor San Francisco more, because when you've been hit hard and you can only respond. Your only response is to respond in kind. Like, we can't let that happen again. We saw it with the Saints. The Saints damn near embarrassed us in 2020, and we go and beat them. And everyone wrote us off of that game because we just couldn't beat the Saints. They had that one game where they completely embarrassed us, and then they had the first game of the season, and that's all. And then we got to the playoffs, and that's all she wrote. Brock Purdy's due a bad game, and he's not had one yet. He will have one. He will have rookie growing pains, and it will happen at some point. And it's more likely to happen when you're in the playoffs, when the pressure is on, when you are in must wins. Not it'd be nice to win. It stacks a win. This, you're either in or you're out. So for me, I think potentially embarrassing the Buccaneers like the way they did in the regular season might play to our favor, because there'll be some bruised egos, there'll be some scores to be settled, and there'll be some wrongs that wanted to be righted, I think.
Yeah, and I mean, that's what, if the Buccaneers do somehow find a way to lose tonight, and I don't think it's going to happen, but say they do, I'm favoring the 49ers to win it all if the Buccaneers are out. Who are you pegging to win it all if in fact the Buccaneers are, taken away from the equation tonight of the teams that are out there right now? Who do you see winning the Super Bowl if it's not the Bucs?
I see a Bills Niners Super Bowl.
That would be a good one. And that was a game that was interesting too, that Miami made that game a lot closer than I think anyone thought it was going to be, considering, the issues that they've had at the quarterback position and all that kind of thing. But I do think the Bills, it's kind of a changing of the guard. If you take a look at it, for years, it was Brady and Rodgers, and now you start seeing it's Burrow and it's Allen and, all these other younger quarterbacks, Mahomes, that are kind of stepping into their own. So it is kind of an interesting time to be a fan of the NFL, as you kind of seen over the years. There's kind of the changing of the guard, and you're kind of seeing it that, maybe this could in fact be Brady's last season. Maybe it could be Rodgers' last season. And then it's kind of time to turn the reins over to some of these younger guys. And I got to say, it's pretty exciting to see what a lot of these younger guys have in the tank. Mahomes is an amazing quarterback to watch out there. Allen, a great job. The young guy down in Jacksonville, who kind of had a rough start, but then came through towards the end of the game. So just a really exciting time to be an NFL fan in general. It's going to be kind of an exciting for years to come to kind of see how these guys kind of come into their own.
And it also, what you're seeing now is we've got this new offensive pass system where it's more about the pass than it is about the run. And you do get a few throwback teams, but generally it's about, especially when you have these quarterbacks, these young quarterbacks you just mentioned the names of, seeing these comeback victories used to be like a really rare thing. It seems to be almost standard procedure almost these days that anyone who has a talented quarterback, you can't say you've beaten a team until you're up a ridiculous amount now, because there was one team, that's the Chargers, who are a playoff level team. It's not like they were it wasn't like they played against the Cleveland Browns or another team that's the bottom of the pile, and Atlanta Falcons, and then they gave up. I think you're talking about teams that are premier teams in the NFL. There was no way that victory should have that they should not have been able to snatch defeat from the jaws of victory. I lost my phrasing, but you get what I mean. It shouldn't happen, but we keep seeing it happen. We're seeing Tom Brady doing what he's been doing all season long, and I still wouldn't be surprised. I mean, I'm hoping that what you and AJ are saying, that it's a bit more open game, but I still wouldn't be surprised if the Cowboys are up by 5 or 6 or what have you, and Tom Brady marches them down the field with very little time left on the clock, and he is precision, boom, touchdown, win the game, walk out of Tampa, dropping the mic, and that's it. Pack your bags, you're out the playoffs. And that's how it happens, because it just seems to be the signature of this Tampa Bay Buccaneers team right now.
Yeah, and I mean, I think it's time for the kind of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers fans to kind of soak this all in, because let's face it, after this season, there's a lot of uncertainty. And I know that some people think it's a lock that Tom Brady's going to come back here. I'm not so sure that is the case. And the uncertainty is ultimately who is going to be that starting QB. Trask has the potential of being a great quarterback. We haven't seen him in enough real world positions. He's been redshirted his entire career. If memory serves, he got progressively better in the preseason as he got more reps. But is he going to be good enough to lead this team? I think that ultimately Gabbert is a solid number 2 quarterback at this point of his career. So I guess what I'm trying to say here is, Bucs fans, let's soak this all in. This could be one last big push for a Super Bowl in quite some time, and maybe something crazy will happen and Brady will come back here. But I just got, kind of this feeling in the wind that that's not going to be the case. I'm not saying that he's going to hang it up forever. He might go with one last hurrah with one other team, but just really soak all of this in, because we don't know. Let's just think back not too long ago with the Jameis years.
Mm-hmm.
Jameis broke all kinds of records for good and bad, for touchdowns and for interceptions. So I think that's the big thing, is just trying to look at the positive and take the moment for what it is. All right, I'm going to have to step away from here as well, but Slick, thank you for having me on your show.
No worries, Dan. Tell us where we can catch you. I know you do the Minute Cast. When is the next one?
So I generally do those about 3 times a week, and then I have the Bucs report on Friday. Usually have a guest come in, but you can find me on Twitter. It's at DanCaps218, or you can find the show on Twitter. It's at Bucs Minutecast. Let's hope for a big win tonight. Go Bucs!
Go Bucs! Thank you, and much appreciated, brother. Cheers for coming on.
Thank you.
Okay, that's the end of the show. I hope you got your popcorn, your jujubes, your drinks, your cokes, your beers, your lemonade, your rum. For me, it will be always the same. Tom Brady jersey will be worn this week, so I had to change my jersey because we lost. That's my little rule of thumb. So it'll be a Tom Brady jersey with a Tom Brady t-shirt and the old traditional red and pewter hat. And I will be supping on beautiful German beer. And then I have my fourth quarter action, which is rum and ginger ale, known as a dark storm. So guys, much appreciated. Thank you for coming on, and thank you to all our guests for appearing: Candace Martino, Carter Brantley, and Dan Holme, and of course my guy AJ Turner. You're all fantastic. Let's hope for a Bucs win. Let's see that Bucs win. We spoke it into reality. Let's go get ass. Bucs on me, Bucs on 3. 1, 2, 3. Go Bucs!